In today's lecture, we are going to talk about how to do balancing of accounts. We are going to talk about the trial balance. What are the objectives of preparing trial balance? What are the limitations of trial balance? And what are the methods of preparation of a trial balance? In the previous lecture, I told you about the accounting process. This accounting process begins with the journalizing, that is recording the transaction in the books of general or subsidiary books. The first step in the accounting process is journalizing the entry. The second step in the accounting process is posting in ledger, posting of these general entries in the books of ledger accounts. So the first step is journalizing, the second step is posting into the ledger accounts, and the third step in the accounting process is balancing of accounts, which we are going to talk about today. After posting into the ledger, the next stage is to ascertain the net effect of all the transactions posted into the account. The process of ascertaining the difference between the total of debit and total of credit side appearing in an account is known as balancing of account. Balance of account is the difference between total of debit and total of credit appearing in the account. Let's understand this with an example, that there is a ledger, there is an account of some debtor, and the total of the debit side of this debtor's account is rupees 1 lakh, and the total of the credit side of this particular debtor's account is rupees 70,000. So there is a balance of 30,000 on the credit side. So this difference will be denoted, will be treated as a balancing of account. This balancing of account, it signifies the net effect of all the transaction posted to that account during a given period. It may be balance, maybe debit balance or a credit balance or a nil balance, depending upon whether the debit or credit side total is higher. Cash account will always be a debit balance, since cash cannot be negative. So this particular account will always have a debit balance, that means positive balance. If the sum of debit account equal to the sum of credit amount, it is closed account and the account is said to have no balance. Let's understand this with an example. The total side of any account is rupees 50,000 and debit side is 50,000, and the credit side total is also 50,000. So this account is said to have a no balance because it is a closed account. Now, in our previous lecture, we talked about the types of account, and therein I told you about the types of accounts. There are three types of accounts, that is real, personal and nominal account. These are the three types of account. And in real account, all type of assets are there. In personal account wherein we include all type of person, whether the person is any natural person, that is any human being, Ram, Shyam, Mohan. And then personal accounts also includes any representative, or this includes any artificial person, that is any company. So in personal accounts, these three persons are included. Then the third type of account is a nominal account, under which all type of expenses, losses, income and gains are included. So the question is how to balance these three accounts. Let's start with the first one, that is balancing of the personal account. Personal accounts are balanced regularly to know the amount due to the person or due from the person. A debit balance indicates that a person concerned is a debtor. For example, if there is a debit balance of any personal account, then that debit balance indicates that the concerned person is a debtor. And if there is a credit balance of any personal account, that balance indicate that the concerned person is a creditor of the business concern. So while preparing the personal account, if there is a debit balance, that person is known as a debtor, and if there is a credit balance, that person is known as a creditor of the business concern. So accordingly, you have to see whether the type of balance is there, what kind of balance is there in the books of accounts. Accordingly, we have to treat. So in personal account, all type of persons comes under this account. So the next type of account. So the next type of account is, if a personal account shows no balance at all, it means that the amount due to him or due from him is settled in full. That means if there is nothing, no difference in the personal account. Let's understand with this with an example, that there is one debtor account, and let's take the example of any person, Amit's account, and the total of debit side is rupees 50,000 and total of the credit side is also 50,000. That means nothing is due from him, and so this account is seems to be settled in full. Now the next type of account is real account. In real account, what we include, all type of assets comes under real account. How to balance these real accounts? All property accounts, that is all assets accounts, will have either a debit balance or no balance, but there would not be any credit balance, because assets always have a debit balance. So all assets accounts with will have either a debit balance or no balance, but never a credit balance. The third type of account is nominal account. In nominal account, what we include, all expenses, losses, income and gains comes under nominal account. So these accounts are not balanced. Only the first two accounts, that is real account and the personal accounts, are balanced by writing the difference amount, that is by balance CD or to balance CD. While this nominal account is never balanced, and the difference of this particular account is transferred at the end of each accounting period to the trading or P&L account, as the case may be. So let's understand this entire procedure of balancing of an account with this example. So this is the ledger account of a person, and the person is Amit. So on 2nd January 2019, we have made a sales to the Amit. So the general entry is Amit's account debit to sales. Since Amit is our debtor, so what we are doing, we are preparing the account of our debtor, and all type of debtors, creditors, they comes under the personal account. And the amount shown on the debit side in the amount column, it is 1 lakh. As you can see on the credit side, on 5th January, sales written by Amit is rupees 10,000. So we have passed the entry for the same, and we have posted this particular journal entry into this ledger. So sales written done by him rupees 10,000 on 28th January. Again, cash paid by him is given 20,000. On 31st January has paid some amount through check. That's why we have written here by bank account, that is rupees 30,000. And again on 31st January 2019, there is one more transaction that we must have given some discount to him, since he is a debtor. So we must have given some discount to him worth rupees 1,000. As you can see this from this ledger, that the total of the debit side is showing rupees 1 lakh, while the total of the credit side is rupees 61,000. 10,000, 20 plus 30 plus 1. So this comes to 61,000. So the debit side total is rupees 1 lakh, credit side total is 61,000, and the difference is of rupees 39,000, of which side the shorter side is credit side. So we need to balance that particular side. So since the total of debit column exceed, the total of debit column is rupees 1 lakh and that exceed the total of credit column, the difference in both these totals is called debit balance. Why it is a debit balance? Look at this. So on the debit side, you can see the total of debit side of this particular account is worth rupees 1 lakh and the total of credit side was rupees 61,000 and the difference is written with the name buy balance CD with rupees 39,000. So the difference amount is with rupees 39,000. So the balancing figure of this particular account is of rupees 39,000. The credit side was shorter. That's why we have balanced this particular account. So balancing would be done either on the debit side or credit side as the case may be. So we have written on the credit side. Remember always that this balancing is always done at the end of the month. So that's why we have written this buy balance CD at the end of the month, that is on 31st January 2019 with the balancing figure amount, and the balancing figure amount is 39,000. So buy balance CD, CD stands for carried down. The same, this closing balance of this particular account, that is Amit's account, would be the opening balance for the next month, and the next month is February month. That's why we have written on 1st February 2019 to balance BD. This means this is the opening balance. BD stands for brought down. So this is the opening balance with of rupees 39,000. Whatever was the closing balance of the previous month would be the opening balance of the current month, next month, that is February. So this account, since this Amit is a debtor of a company and all the debtors have a debit balance, that's why the balance of this particular account, that is opening balance, is shown on the debit side. Obviously debtors has a debit balance, that's why it is appearing on the debit side with rupees 39,000. The next step in the accounting process is the preparation of trial balance. We are done with the generalizing. We have recorded the transaction in the general. We have passed the general entry. After passing the general entry, we have posted the same into the ledger. We have made different ledgers. Then after ledger posting, we have done with the balancing of accounts. Whatever is the difference, either it is on the debit side or on the credit side, we have balanced the accounts. Now the next step in the accounting process before the preparation of the financial statement is trial balance. Trial balance is a very important thing in the accounting process. Trial balance is what? Trial balance is a schedule or a list of all the ledger account balances or maybe the total amount taken from various ledger books on a particular date to check the arithmetical accuracy. This trial balance is not in an account. Why this trial balance is not in an account? Because this is just in a statement. It includes the summary of all the ledger accounts, whatever we have prepared. So this trial balance shows only the balances of all those ledger accounts. So this is just summary. And so double entry system of bookkeeping has no role in its preparation. So bookkeeping is applicable only when we are preparing any account. Since trial balance is not in an account, that's why bookkeeping has no role in its preparation. It is a list or schedule of balances of all the accounts. So all the accounts means whether the account is personal account or real account or nominal account, whether the account is of Amit's, that is debtors account or creditors account, or any asset, that is machinery account, building account, or it is an account of any rent, salary, commission. So the summary of all these accounts will be, the balance of all these accounts will be posted in the trial balance, and the trial balance is a summary of all these accounts which is prepared just to check the arithmetical accuracy before the preparation of the financial statements. It can be prepared at any time during the year. It is a method of checking or testing the accuracy of transaction. It is prepared on a particular date. Trial balance is always prepared on a particular date. It is not prepared for a particular period. Now, what are the objectives of trial balance? Why do we prepare trial balance? Can't we omit the step that after the balancing of accounts directly we can prepare the financial statement? Answer is no. Because unless you prepare this trial balance, you would not be able to detect any error. If there is any error in your accounting record, then in that case you would not be able to detect those errors. So, the objective of trial balance is to ascertain the arithmetical accuracy. Again, I am telling this only check the arithmetical accuracy. So, the main objectives of the trial balance is to ascertain the arithmetical accuracy of ledger accounts. A tally trial balance indicates that equal debits and credits have been recorded in the ledger accounts. If your trial balance agrees, that is, total of the debit side is equal to the total of credit side, that means there is no error from the point of view of the arithmetical accuracy. The next objective of the trial balance is to help in locating errors. An untallied trial balance that some errors have been committed. So basically this trial balance help in locating errors. If the total of debit side is not equal to the total of credit side. Let's take an example. The total of debit side is rupees 2 lakh and the total of the credit side is rupees 2 lakh 30,000. So we can make out that our credit side is exceeding. Since it is not an account, so we don't need to balance this account. So this is just a trial balance. We are just taking for whatever we have done, whatever books of accounts we have prepared, whether they are correct or not, and that can be done by preparing trial balance. If when we are preparing trial balance, if your debit is equals to credit, that means whatever the accounting records are there, they are correct. But if debit is not equals to credit, that means there is some error. The third objective of trial balance, that is, it helps in the preparation of financial statements. A trial balance can be directly used for preparing the financial statement and there is no need to refer to the ledger. If we prepare final accounts, financial statements by referring to the ledger, so that is going to take lot of time and there will be a lot of confusion as well. Since trial balance is a summary or list of all the ledger account, so it is easier for us to prepare financial statement with the help of trial balance. Now, what are the limitations of trial balance? Does it serve the purpose that if we are preparing trial balance, so we can assure you that everything is correct in the books of accounts? Answer is no, because there are certain limitations also of this trial balance. The first one is, it does not guarantee that all the transactions have been correctly analyzed and posted in proper accounts. Let's understand this with an example. If we have purchased a machinery and for the installation of that machinery we have paid some wages. So when we are paying wages for the installation of machinery, I have explained you in my previous lecture, if any amount is any wages given at the time of installation of any asset, that is added to the cost of that particular asset. So what has happened here, when we have paid wages, so for the installation of machinery, this should be added to the cost of the asset only. The entry should be assets account debit to cash or to creditor. But if we have recorded, instead of debiting this machinery, we have debited with wages account. Instead of debiting machine account, we have debited wages account. So this error would not be detected by the trial balance. Your trial balance would still agree. Why it would still agree? Because we have debited wages instead of machines. So trial balance check only the debit column and credit column. That's why I was focusing upon the arithmetical accuracy. The objectives of trial balance is to check the arithmetical accuracy. But if you have done any mistake related with any, that if you have treated any revenue expenditure as a capital expenditure or capital expenditure as a revenue expenditure, if you have done these type of errors, then those errors cannot be detected by the trial balance. The next limitation of the trial balance is a tally trial balance is not a conclusive proof of accuracy of the books of accounts. Since certain type of errors, that is two-sided errors, even when are there, even when the trial balance tally. If we are saying our trial balance is tally, your debit is equals to credit, that does not mean that everything is correct. There are some errors which cannot be detected by the trial balance, which we shall be discussing in our upcoming lecture. So there are some errors which cannot be detected by the trial balance. So we cannot say if the trial balance is tally and it is a conclusive proof of the accuracy. There are some errors which cannot be detected by the trial balance, and your trial balance would still agree. If a trial balance has not been prepared accurately, the final accounts prepared from such a trial balance would not be reliable. If we have not prepared this trial balance properly, then there is no point of preparing final accounts from such trial balance. Now, how to prepare the trial balance and what are the methods of preparation of trial balance? There are generally two methods of the preparation of trial balance. The first method is total method and the second method is balance method. Total method, under this method, the total amount of debit item and credit item in each ledger account are incorporated in the trial balance. That means when we prepare trial balance, we consider the total of every ledger. Let's understand this within an example. If there is a debtors account and the total of that debtor account is rupees 1 lakh, debit side is 1 lakh and credit side is also 1 lakh. We are talking about the total. We are not talking about the balance difference of any ledger account. So while preparing trial balance by the total method, we consider this total of ledger account. We post the total of ledger accounts. The next method is balance method. This method is in practice. Generally we follow this method. So we would be discussing about this method only. So under this method, balance method, the balances of the accounts are incorporated in the trial balance, which we have just discussed in the previous example. So while preparing trial balance, we consider the difference balance of each ledger account and that is posted in the trial balance. This method can be prepared only when all the ledger accounts have been balanced. So this is the format of trial balance. While preparing trial balance, you have to follow certain rules for the preparation of trial balance. As I have shown here that this trial balance is of, you have to write name of the company or of the firm as on 31st December or 31st March whenever we are preparing. So the first column is a serial number and the second column is the name of the account, and there are two other columns, that is debit balance and credit balance. So while preparing trial balance, we have to follow certain principles, and the principles are, according to the modern approach, you have to debit all the assets. All assets have a debit balance, all expenses and losses have a debit balance, all income and gains and liability have a credit balance. Just because of this reason, I have posted some items in this trial balance, and you can see I have posted this purchase account and on the debit side. Since purchase is an expense and all expenses according to the nominal account, all expenses are to be debited. So while preparing trial balance, if wrong trial balance is given to you and you have to rectify, so how to rectify? There are certain rules. All assets, expenses and losses are to be shown on the debit side. All income, gains and liabilities are to be shown on in the credit column. So because of this reason, purchase account is to be debited here. Sales account, which is an income, is shown on the credit side. Then accordingly purchase return and sales return. Then cash, bank, these are the assets, and assets always have a debit balance. Capital, which is a liability, is shown in the credit side. Drawings account is shown on the debit side, since it has a debit balance. Salary, which is a expense, and all expenses are to be debited. Furniture account, which is an asset, all assets have a debit balance. Ram, who is a debtor has a debit balance, and Sham, who is a creditor, he has a credit balance. And finally the total, your debit balance should be, your debit side must be equal to your credit side. That means if your debit is equals to credit side, then we can say that there are no errors. Now let's discuss about the entire process from the very beginning, that is from journal entry, ledger posting, then balancing of accounts, and trial balance. Let's understand this entire process within one short example here. I have taken these 4 transactions, and the first transaction is on 1st May. Commission received, this is an income, and this is rupees 10,000. Then rent paid 5,000, interest received 6,000, brokerage paid rupees 2,000. These are the 4 transactions given to us. So the first of all, we have to pass the journal entry, and for passing the journal entries, we have to, as we have discussed in the previous lectures, that there are certain rules, golden rules for posting passing the journal entries. The first one is, for passing this journal entry, is cash account debit to commission receive account. Since commission receive is an income, and here 2 accounts are applicable. One is real account and another is nominal account. Since we are receiving commission and income, all incomes comes under nominal account. So 2 rules are applicable here. One is cash, which comes under real account, and income, commission received is an income, which comes under nominal account. The rule of 2 accounts are applicable here, and according to that rule, we have passed this entry, cash, which comes under real account, and the rule of real account is debit what comes in. That's why we have debited cash here. And since commission received is an income which comes under the nominal account, and the rule of the nominal account is debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gains. That's why, because of this rule, we have credited this commission received. So accordingly, you have to pass the journal entries. So we have passed all the journal entries in this. Then after the passing the journal entry, the next is ledger posting. So ledger, after the preparation of the ledger, that is cash account, all the concern account we have to prepare, and we have to balance that. As you can see, this that the cash account is showing a balancing figure of rupees 9,000, and that is balance at the end of the month only. Always remember that balancing is done always at the end of the month only. So we have written that by balance CD is showing 9,000. So the opening balance of this particular cash account is shown on the debit side, and I told you that cash will never have a credit balance, that this particular account will always have a debit balance, since cash cannot be negative. So accordingly, we have prepared all the accounts: rent account, commission receive account, interest receive account, brokerage account. We have prepared all the ledgers, and we have balanced them as well. This interest received, since it is an income has a credit balance. That's why the opening balance of the interest received is shown on the credit side. Now finally, we have to prepare this trial balance, and this trial balance is prepared by the second method, that is balance method. This method is followed generally. So we have posted all the balances of all the ledger accounts, that is rent account, brokerage account, cash, commission, interest received. As you can see, rent account is shown on the debit side. Why it is shown on the debit side? Rent has a debit balance. The opening balance of the rent account is appearing on the debit side. So that's why it is shown in the trial balance in the debit column. So all the ledger accounts we have posted. This is a summary of all the accounts. Your debit is of rupees 16,000, which is equals to the credit side. So debit is 16,000, and again the credit is also showing the same amount, which is 16,000. We can say there are no errors. Thank you so much everyone.